I've been watching a lot of Super Mario challenges on YouTube recently. It's really entertaining to see different YouTubers attempting different challenges. One of these YouTubers is Ceave Gaming. He has a series on his channel where he tries to beat certain games while permanently crouching. All of the challenges in his series have something in common. They are a lot of fun. I definitely wanted to try one of them myself, so I decided to pick one of the classic 2D Mario games. Is it possible to beat Super Mario World while permanently crouching? Well, that's what we are here to find out, so let's explain the rules. I must be crouching at all times, except when entering a door/pipe and when starting or ending a level. All moves that Mario has are allowed. Even the spin jump can be used to skip obstacles. Power-ups and checkpoints are forbidden, since the goal of these challenges is to beat the game in the smallest way possible. The power-ups in Super Mario World make Mario bigger, except for the star. So the star is the only power-up we can use in this run. Yoshi, on the other hand, is allowed, since he isn't considered a power-up. There are certain objects in the game which can put Mario out of his crouching state. Slopes are a very famous example of this. Touching these objects is completely forbidden. Now that we know the rules, let's start up a new save file and see how far we can get. Yoshi's Island 1 is a pretty rough start, as there are a couple of precise jumps you have to make. We'll soon come across this part, which seems impossible to clear. However, we have a trick that allows us to beat this level. I'd like to call it the spin jump cancel. When performing a spin jump on a slope, as soon as we land, we never see Mario in his sliding sprite. By carefully timing this trick, we are able to beat this level, and more importantly, we can now hit the yellow switch, which will turn on the yellow outline blocks. This is important, as it can help us in this run. Moving on to Yoshi's Island 2, it's a simple level. However, it's really important once again, as we are able to get infinite Yoshis from this here question block. By beating the stage first, and then afterwards visiting it again, we can get Yoshi and then quit out of the stage by pressing start and then select. Now I can take Yoshi into another course, which will be really useful throughout this run. Yoshi's Island 3 is one of these levels where the difficulty increases, but in a fun and fair way. There are a couple of scary jumps here and there, but overall it's not too bad. Yoshi's Island 4 scared me at first, since the level looked like it was underwater. Water is one of the worst enemies that stand in our path. Water immediately puts Mario in a non-crouching swimming state. Thankfully, this level takes place over water, but that doesn't mean it is simple to beat. Especially this part where we have to jump off the question block at the perfect speed and height to grab the P-switch. After jumping on it though, you can hop to the goal and clear the level. And now it is time for the fortress. And my god, what a fortress it is! The fortress features fences, and those are the reason why it is actually not possible to beat Mario World while permanently crouching. And that's for the most stupid reason. Usually Mario is supposed to grab the fence by pressing up, but somehow this also works when pressing down. This leaves Mario in a state where he always leaves the fence with zero momentum once we jump into it. I have no idea why the system works like that, but sadly it makes this run impossible. No matter how good we time this jump here, we always fall down into our doom. That's ridiculously unfortunate. But let's at least check out the levels which can be beaten. Since this run turned out to be impossible, I decided to play through the impossible levels as normal, so we can check out the other ones. But as a modifier, I'm not allowed to use secret exits in impossible levels. Donut Plains 1 is a level which thankfully isn't one of these, but something about the stage feels annoying. I guess it's probably because we aren't able to use the cape lever for help. I also made the mistake of going into this level without Yoshi. For everyone that wants to try this level themselves, don't repeat by mistake. The problem are these flowers that shoot projectiles. If you don't have Yoshi to eat them, you'll need to either wait in a spot where they can't hit you, or you have to jump through them as fast as possible. This sounds way simpler than it is, but it's possible nonetheless. I can't say the same thing for Donut Plains 2 though. Right at the beginning you can already see slopes of doom. Thankfully, we are able to avoid them by bouncing off this bossy beetle and then landing on top of the blocks. With more precise movement, we can get around the sand part, but the slope after that is so close to the ceiling that we can't make any progress here. Even the spin jump cancel technique doesn't work. Sadly, this is another nope. Donut Ghost House had me scared at first because of the staircase here, but by using another spin jump cancel, it gets the job done pretty easily. Donut Plains 3 is more platforming, just like Yoshi's Island 3. Once again, there's not really that much to say, so let's move on to Donut Plains 4. This is a pretty annoying course because of these hammer throwing Santas. They can get in your way quite often. Other than that though, there's not really that much to say about this course. Morton's Castle has a sloped conveyor belt right at the beginning that requires us to use a couple of spin jump cancels. But this is actually harder than before, simply because of these pendulums. You have to wait until you are in a good spot to climb the slope. Honestly, this castle is mostly just waiting for platforms to move anyway. But thankfully, we can make it through the part, and fighting Morton himself isn't really all too bad. And with that, let's move on to Vanilla Dome. Vanilla Dome is a very unfriendly world in this run, and the first course is already impossible for one of the dumbest reasons. We simply aren't able to go through any available path. The down path is so low that we always end up on top when moving. The middle part isn't possible either. Using the Koopa shell on the top works, but we aren't able to slip through the gap. 1 block wide gaps are just too small for Mario. And the top path is just straight up blocked by this pipe. No matter what I tried, even with a Yoshi, I couldn't get around this pipe. So sadly, this level is a bust since we can't make any progress. And Vanilla Dome 2 is practically the same. Mario drops into a pool of water instantly. Even if you would use Yoshi, you would be forced to drop into water anyway. So that's a yikes for me. Vanilla Ghost House is beatable though. It takes some practice, especially in the second half, with those gas bubble thingies, but we can make it out alive by using the spin jump. Vanilla Dome 3 is a pretty unique cave. It requires you to enter it with Yoshi, which thankfully makes the first part easier for us, since you can't just bounce off of these charvark thingies. Then you need to do some well-timed sliding underneath those pipes. It would be a lot easier to do this without Yoshi, but we do have to keep him until later use. After we make our way through, we have to dodge the pipe entrance by hopping on its edge. Now you'll find yourself in front of a pipe we can't clear. Usually you are supposed to take this purple block to run up on the side of the pipe. However, since we can't run, this does not work obviously. But strangely, when using Yoshi, this block somehow works as a trampoline. Yippee, I guess. This allows us to go over the checkpoint area. At this spot, we need to leave Yoshi. With him, we would never be able to make it under these pipes in the time frame of the moving lava lift. After all of that though, the level is thankfully clearable, and Vanilla Dome 4 is more of fun and fair platforming. I thought at first that Lemmy's castle would be pretty tough, and it's undeniably difficult to dodge all of the missiles shot by the Magic Koopas. And then there's this section which requires similar movement than in Yoshi's Island 4, but as a result, it's the easiest fortress yet. Vanilla Dome wasn't so friendly, but what about the upcoming stages? Cheese Bridge is really weird, since you cannot actually beat it as normal. Usually, you're supposed to climb this rope, but there's no way to do this without pressing up. It's bizarre how the fences count, but the ropes don't. Anyway, the only way to beat this stage is by entering it with Yoshi and using an extremely rare power-up, the Yoshi wings. You can get them from exactly this block, and with those we are able to fly towards the end, and it tells us that flying actually works since Mario always stays crouched. This will be really helpful for the run. Chocolate Mountain is only possible thanks to Yoshi's newly discovered flying ability. With it, we are able to basically breeze through the level. Usually there would be a place with the semi-solids placed just like in Vanilla Dome 1, so it wouldn't be able to go through them, but because of Yoshi's amazing abilities, we're just able to fly over the pipe, and therefore clear the level. I know we just were in a fortress, but now it's Ludwig's time to shine. And my god, Ludwig puts up a fight in his own fortress. At the second part, the ceiling collapses, leaving almost no room for error. Since we can't move, normally we have to jump in order to move. So we need to get things out quickly or else we're gonna die from the ceiling. We have to make it through this part perfectly. Completing this room once took several hours to do. But guess what? It was all for nothing because we're running into these godforsaken fences once again. That's right, this castle isn't beatable because of those stupid fences. Why did I even put up all this work? I don't know. I don't know really. But this castle ain't happening. But anyway, let's move on to the Forest of Illusion. The first stage is a cakewalk since we can abuse Yoshi flying to get the key for the secret exit. Usually this would be a pretty nightmare of the stage, but overall it's not too bad. The same goes for Forest Ghost House, although it is a bit harder. Just remember to go through the P-switch door instead of the usual door to take the secret exit. This will now take you to Forest of Illusion 4, which is simple too. I cleared the level normally the first time, only to get soft locked in Forest of Illusion 2. You guessed it, it's another water level, so we can't clear it. But thankfully, we can take another route by entering this blue pipe here. This will lead us to the forest secret area, which is famous for causing headaches every once in a while. There are a couple of threads here and there, but it's not the worst thing in the world. And with that, we leave the forest and enter the forest fortress. This castle does feature some scary jumps here and there, but again, it's not really the same difficulty we had to deal with before. The hardest jump in this stage is probably getting into the boss door. Here we need to time a spin jump of these grinders. But with that, we're done. The Forest of Illusion turned out to be the easiest world in this run. Now we can go to the Star Route and hopefully beat Bowser. But before we can get to Bowser's final castle, we have to beat Superstar Road 4 via the secret exit, and doing that is surprisingly hard. We had to get our good old pal Green Yoshi. It won't work with any other color. Then we have to eat this blue Koopa here, and afterwards we have to land here, spit out the shell, and eat this one. Now we have a race to the secret exit area, which is located right here. And now we have to spit out the shell onto the question mark block. This will only work if Yoshi is in air, so timing that is insanely hard. But thankfully it is possible to do that, and by eating the key, we can now leave this area through the secret hole. The reason we have to do this in this weird way is because we haven't unlocked the switch palaces, which usually would form the bridge here. So we have to get it in this unusual way. Now we can use the star here to warp us to Bowser's castle. For Bowser's final castle, I recommend taking door 3 first and afterwards either door 7 or 8, since those are the easiest methods to get through while crouching. And now, it's time for the final battle, which is a big challenge to master. You'll have to catch the Mecha Goopas Bowser throws at you, and then throw them back upwards in air. We can't do that on the ground since we can't press down and up at the same time. So we always have to jump first before we can throw them upwards. Finding out the best spot to hit him took me forever. I eventually hit him one time, but then I needed to hop again, and this just caused me to die to do his propeller. So I tried again, and yeah, finding out the best spot to hit him took me forever. I even found myself struggling at his fire rain phase simply because they were taking up most of the space available. This fight is definitely no easy task, but eventually you will be able to master his patterns and defeat the great Koopa King. So, with that being said, is it possible to beat Super Mario World while permanently crouching? Well, sadly no. It's because of the Yoshi's Island Castle, or to be more precise, the strange behavior of the fences. But even though we weren't able to beat the game, it was still a lot of fun. I don't know why that's always the case for crouch runs, but I had a blast recording this. If you like this video, please leave me a thumbs up and also consider to check out Ceave Gaming. He has a lot of more of these crouch runs live. The link will be in the description below. If you don't want to miss any future content like this, then please consider subscribing. It's free and you can always unsubscribe later if you lose interest. Tell me what you think of this formula in the comments below and whether I shall do more of them. So with that, thanks for watching and until next time.